Hello little fish, welcome to Thinking Circle in the spring term of 2025. You will remember from all the thinking circles that you've been involved in before that this is our alternative to having a school council. It's a way of making sure that everybody in your class has a voice and that everybody can share thinking that they do around important school issues. We've done some amazing stuff in the past. We've raised money for charities, we've reviewed school policies and all sorts of things. This thinking circle is going to be a little bit different. And I'm going to give you something to think about, and then you're going to feed back to us what you have decided as a class. Our thinking circle is inspired by two things that have happened to me recently. First of all, I was watching the news, and on the news they were talking about the children's top voted word for word of the year. And I did a little bit of research around that and found out that the Oxford and Cambridge dictionaries both come up with a word of the year, which I'm going to share with you in a little while. But also I came across this beautiful book, which is called The Word Collector by somebody called Peter H. Reynolds. Some of you will know Peter H. Reynolds because of his book, The Dot, which often inspires us to think about art. This book I love. And I love it because it talks about how important words are. I love words. I love learning new words. I love the fact that there's loads of words that I don't know what they mean. And there are still words to discover, which allow us to build our vocabularies so that they get bigger and bigger. This book is all about that. So I'm going to start this thinking circle by sharing with you The Word Collector. Collectors collect things. Some people collect stamps. Some people collect coins. Others collect rocks. Some collect art. Some collect bugs. Others collect baseball cards. Some people collect comic books. And Jerome, what did he collect? Jerome collected words. He collected words he heard. My trip to Peru was perfectly pleasant. And certain words caught his attention. He collected words that he saw. Willow tree shop. Certain words jumped out at him. He collected words he read. He's reading The Wizard of Oz. And he's writing down the word emerald. Certain words popped off the page. Short and sweet words like spark, bloom, drift, dream. 2-syllable treats, treasure, motif, whisper, glimmer, hover, candid. And multi-syllable words that sounded like songs. Kaleidoscope, guacamole, geometry, wonderful, symphony. And then there were words he did not know the meaning of at first, but they were marvellous to say. Aromatic, vociferous, effervescent. There were words whose sounds were perfectly suited to their meaning. Molasses, torrential, smudge, bellow, Tyrannosaurus Rex. Jerome filled his scrapbooks with more and more of his favourite words. Jerome's collections grew. He began organising them. Dreamy, science, sad, action, poetic. One day, while transporting them all, Jerome slipped and his words went flying. As he began to pick them up, he noticed his collections had become jumbled. Big words next to little words, sad words next to dreamy words. He used his words to write poems. He used his poems to make songs. They moved, they delighted. Jerome eagerly collected more and more of his favourite words. The more words he knew, the more clearly he could share with the world what he was thinking, feeling, and dreaming. One breezy afternoon, Jerome climbed the highest hill, pulling a wagon packed with his word collection. He smiled as he emptied his collection of words into the wind. He saw children in the valley below, scurrying about, collecting words from the breeze. Jerome had no words to describe how happy that made him. Reach for your own words. Tell the world who you are and how you will make it better. The beginning. Isn't that a fantastic book? I'm going to pop this in the entrance hall to school, so if you want to pop along and have a little look and look more closely at some of the words in the book, you are so welcome to do that. So we know that collecting words is fun, and we know that the Oxford and Cambridge dictionaries every year like to come up with a word of the year. So I wanted to share with you what the words of the year are from the Oxford and Cambridge dictionaries. So the new word in the Cambridge dictionary this year is manifest. Now the word manifest has had loads of different meanings over the years, and it's become quite a fashionable word. It's quite difficult to define how people use the word manifest, but I've tried. So I have said that I think the word manifest means believing that your dreams can come true by thinking that they will come true. To manifest. So that is the Cambridge Dictionary word of the year for 2024. The Oxford Dictionary word of the year is actually sneakily two words. Brain rot. And the definition of the word brain rot, and children in year 5 and 6 might be quite interested to know this, is the deterioration, which means reduction, of intellectual capacity, so that's what the work that your brain does, as the result of the excessive amounts of low quality online content. So the word brain rot means that by using computers, the internet, phones all of the time, our brains start to rot. So it means that our ability in our brain starts to go down. Brain rot. Interesting. And then on Newsround, about a week and a half ago, I heard about the children's word of the year. So this is a word that children across the United Kingdom have voted for as their word of the year for 2024. Kindness. And the definition of kindness is to be friendly, generous, and considerate. So this got me thinking, little fish. I was thinking of you all in your classes, and I thought it would be lovely for you to get together and come up with a word of the year for your own class. Our vision at Fishbourne is there is only one you in this great big world. Make it a better place. At Fishbourne, we name our classes in reception. You name your classes in reception, and you carry that name with you all the way through school. That means that for us, we know that our hippos class is really different to our elephants class. Our cheetahs are different to our crocodiles. Our puffers are different to our sharks, and our chameleons are different to everybody else. And for that reason, I thought it would be really lovely for each class to decide on a word of the year, a word that you think is going to be really significant to your class for the year ahead. It could be something that you're already really good at and that you would like to celebrate. It could be something that right now you're not good at and you're going to work on, and that you're going to collaborate together as a class and you are going to get better at that word. It could be one of our school rules or one of our learning behaviours that as a class you decide you would like to really focus on in the coming weeks and months. But this word is going to become your class word of 2025. And we're going to display those words in our school hall and we're going to reflect on them over the course of the year. So choosing that word carefully as a class is going to be really important. You might want to think about how you can do that fairly. It might be important to think about how you can make sure that every single voice is heard in your classroom. You've got just over a week to go through this process. So if I was you, I'd want to spend some time thinking about that word. I'd like to come up with some ideas. I'd like to share those words with everybody else. And then I'd want to think about how I could make a final decision as fairly and kindly as I could. And then I'd want to think about how I would make sure that we had buy-in from everybody in our class to work towards that word together. This is such a lovely opportunity for you to work together in your classes, and I cannot wait to hear about the word that you come up with. There will be a few rules because I know that we like to think differently at Fishbourne, but one of the things that I would really like you to do is to make sure you end up with just one word that becomes your word of 2025. And in a couple of weeks' time, we'll let you know. We'll invite some representatives from each class to come on up and share your words, and then we'll work on our display in the hall together. Hopefully your minds are whirring with ideas right now, and I'm sure you've got a lot to think about. And I'm going to leave you to have those conversations in your classroom and for your teachers to share with you when you will next talk about this as a class. Make sure you hear everyone's voices. That's really important. Take care, little fish, and have fun.